Howdy, welcome to another Skating in Shorts tutorial. Today we are focusing on one of my all-time favorites, backside slappy grinds. Yeah, there's everything to love about backside slappies. Backside slappies are one of the coolest, easiest, fun tricks to learn that you can do. We're going to focus on your foot positioning. You want your front foot on or behind the front bolts and your back foot either on the tail or in the pocket. As you get more comfortable doing the trick, you can pretty much have your feet almost anywhere on the board and you'll be able to do the trick. Our focus now is on your approach. If you're coming straight in, you want to carve so you can get to about 45 degrees. If you're already on an angle approaching the curb, then obviously you're not going to need to carve as much. This is about impacting the curb at 45 degrees. As you're rolling up, bend your knees. It'll help you when you impact the curb. As you're about to hit the curb, you want to lighten your feet. And the idea, so you're keeping your feet just above the board until you're on top of the curb, and then you can push your weight back down. The next thing you want to do is get that back truck up. The second you feel that back truck lift up onto the curb, you want to push your back heel down. You really need to be pushing that back heel down to pinch that back wheel onto the curb. Now, if you do this correctly, you will be basically doing nothing. It should be smooth, it should be stable. All that's left to do at that point is to turn off and roll away. So next we want to focus on your body positioning. Your body positioning will change throughout the course of the trick. On your approach, you'll be leaning in over your toes. As you start to get up and onto the curb, you'll be standing up more. As you start slowing down, you're going to find yourself leaning back over your toes until you turn off the curb and roll away. What you want to do is basically practice the approach, the knee bend, and that front truck bumping up onto the curb. If you do that often enough, you'll reach a point where you feel as though you're ready to commit with that back foot. And once you do that and get locked on, you're doing the trick. All that's left to do at that point is to turn off and roll away. Yeah! So something that worked for me was to take the approach of bumping into the curb and timing the rest of the trick, rather than just brutally bashing into it. But for me, it was really just about rolling in smooth and timing a bump. And the trick really took care of itself once I had worked out to do that. Number one, bend your knees and stay low. If you're bending and you're down low, you've got a lower center of gravity, which means that you're more stable, you've got better balance. And if your legs are bent, it's much easier to bail. You can kick your board out, almost any direction behind. If you fall, you're also closer to the ground. Number two, lean over your toes. This is a really handy one when you're learning, because the fear of falling and hurting yourself on the curb is a legitimate fear. So by leaning over your toes, your body is in a position where if you were to fall, you're not actually going to fall onto the curb. Number three, don't lean too far forwards. The further back you lean, the more likely you are to get a good grind happening. Putting too much weight on the front truck is going to grab that front truck on the curb, and the board will stop and you'll need to keep going and run out of the trick. So tip number four, keep your shoulders as parallel to the curb as you can. You probably want them a little bit open, but they're more likely to be closer to parallel than they are being perpendicular. Tip number five, so the taller the curb, the more you'll need to crouch and the more you'll need to lighten that weight, or in fact, you might need to start jumping to get up onto tall curbs. So tip number six, loose trucks. So loose trucks are better. They turn easier. You get better carving. The fact that you can carve better means that you're likely to keep your speed going into or onto a curb. And with speed comes longer grinds. And like everyone knows, the longer the grind, the better the grind. There isn't a huge amount of things that can go wrong with this trick. Also, when things do go wrong, the consequences are also fairly minimal. All right, so you've learnt backside slappies. Congratulations. The thing you could probably do now is just practice getting really good at it. and then start adding some other tricks to it. Slappy into board slide. And then backside slappy into a board slide and then into a hurricane. If you liked the video, then give it a thumbs up and please leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Yeah, if you love curb skating or know someone who does need curb skating in their life right now, then share this video, because the more we get curb skating out there, the more people will be skating curbs and the more curbs are going to start rocking up in skate parks. So everyone wins. It's a great trick. It's a great entry into curb skating if you haven't done anything yet. So have a go, and yeah, bye for now.